It doesn't matter if you love playing games, if this is your jam, there is a place for everybody in these games and something useful you can take out of all of them. So we're really lucky to have this team here. We have Sharon Andre, president and founder of H Leadership, and the team from Reality Break Escapes. Welcome to the floor.
Thank you.
Have a great time, everyone.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. All right. I'm going to jump over if anybody needs to use the app for a closed caption. Here it is. Escape and engage. What we're going to do is we're going to give you a little bit of overview about how people are different and how they can leverage those differences when solving problems. And then we're going to put you into teams and you're going to play the Escape Arcade games, as you can see in front of you. And then we're going to get some observations and a wrap up. So here's the deal. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. Say it as loud as you can. It takes teamwork to make the dream. There's no I in. None of us is as smart as all of us, right? So what we know about teams and teams working together is that most teams achieve the results that is equivalent to the individual capabilities of team members. The results are equal to the average of the individual team members. But what we know is that when teams get together and they work on building high levels of trust, they have engaging conversations around conflict, they're committed to team results, they have great accountability conversations, and then they have a focus on team results. So we call that collective intelligence. They achieve collective intelligence, and that is the results of the team are far greater than the average of the individuals on the team. And that's what we need. We need collective intelligence in order to solve these escape games. So we're going to talk about the magic 4 lines. These magic lines will demonstrate how people are different. We're only going to go through 2 of these lines today because we don't have time to go through all 4 of them. So the first line is decisions. Now on one side of this line, we have fast gut decision makers. They walk fast, they talk fast, they even listen assertively. When you're talking to them, it might sound something like this. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, got it, yeah, did you talk to Bob? And is that a question? No, it's a statement. It means that if you haven't spoken to Bob, you better go talk to Bob. And when you're done speaking, they've already made a decision. They probably made a decision even before you were done speaking. So, fast gut decision makers, they use their gut and they move fast. Now on the other side of this line, we have process decision makers. Now, the fast gut decision makers say, if we are fast, they must be slow? No, they're thorough, thoughtful, and comprehensive in their decision-making process. When you're speaking with a process decision maker, it might look something like this. Really? Huh. Tell me more. Did you talk to Bob? Ah. And then when you're done speaking with them, they'll say something like, is that all? And they begin to make their decision at that time. So they take time to process information prior to making decisions. Now, it might look something like this. There's a little tension between these 2 lines when we're solving problems and working together. So, what do you think? Well, I'm not sure. What do you mean you're not sure? When are you going to know? Well, I don't know. Why does it take you so long to make a decision? Why are you in such a hurry to make the wrong decision? So you see a little bit of tension on these lines, but when we learn to appreciate the differences and the strengths of these lines, then we get synergy and we get collective intelligence. When we don't have trust and respect built, these are some of the words that we would use to describe low trust and respect. Bossy, pushy, rude, slow, clinical, indecisive. And then we take time and we leverage differences and we understand how they're different from us. And all of a sudden, those same people are decisive and courageous and fearless, thorough, thoughtful, comprehensive. So my question for you, we're going to get up and move at this point, If you are on the fast gut decision side of the line, I want you to get up and walk over to this side of the room. So stand up. And if you're on the fast gut side of the decision-making process, walk over here. Stand up and move. If you're on the process side of the decision-making line, go ahead and just stand up and gather just over here on this side. Okay, so we kind of have half and half, right? We've got a pretty good representation on both sides. Okay, my question for you. On the process decision-making line, we'll go here first. What are some of the strengths that you would bring to solving problems as a process decision maker?
Analysis.
Analysis?
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Impacts, strengths, weaknesses of that decision.
Okay. So you're thinking longer term. We're not just in the moment. Okay. Anything else you can add to that?
That's what I was thinking, the different scenarios that that decision can impact later down the road.
Okay. Thanks, Elise. Sorry to put you on the spot there. Does anybody else have any thoughts about how a process decision maker can bring strengths to solving problems? Yes.
I think being able to like see like all the different options to like problem solve something. So like, just like the different like opportunities.
So not jumping at the first solution, right? Kind of looking around, what else could there be? Okay, that's our process decision-making side. What about the fast gut side? What strengths do you bring? Jimmy, can you help us?
And speed.
Speed and, I'm sorry, what was
Decisiveness.
Decisiveness. So you're just going to jump right in and just start solving problems, right? You might not solve them right the first time, but then you'll try again. Okay. What else? Any other strengths?
The ability to prototype and like fail fast, so then you can move on to the next one if it didn't work. So the ability to kind of try multiple things at the same time.
Absolutely. So the ability to try multiple things at the same time. You're not afraid to fail. We'll just try it again. If that one doesn't work, then we'll try it again. So what blind spots could arise with fast gut decision making? What might get in your way?
I was just going to add to the previous question, sometimes done is better than perfect. And I feel like I'm definitely one of those people that it's done.
Yeah, the get it done people. It doesn't have to be right every time, right? Let's just get it done. Okay, thank you. What about this side, blind spots? Any blind spots that you see from a process decision making? What's the obvious one? Yes.
The ability to pivot.
So you don't want to pivot quickly, or you do want to, you can pivot.
Or the inability to make quick pivots.
Yes, okay, so that could be a blind spot. You're like, no, I'm sure we go this way. I've researched it. I know we go this way. And it's hard to change your mind maybe, right? Okay, so you see the differences and the strengths and how we can complement each other when solving problems. Okay, the next line we're going to talk about is people. Now, on one side of this line, we have the socially assertive people. Now, these are the people that when they walk into a room, they bring the energy with them. They walk into the office, and all of a sudden, there's more energy than before they got there. When they walk into a party, they go find the most energetic place in the room. They'll join the conversation, and guess what? They'll talk about anything. They don't need to know anything about the topic because they know someone who knows someone about that topic. So they're pretty much comfortable talking about anything. When they leave the party, they set their glass of wine or whatever they were drinking on the table, and they exit the room and they say, okay, I hope you guys can have fun without me. I'm not sure how it's going to happen, but you can try. Socially assertive people. Now, on the other side of this line, we have the socially cautious person. Now, these people also like parties, but when they walk into a room, if there's more than 4 or 5 people, they're going to play it pretty close to the vest. So it might look, they'll walk into the room, they'll kind of circle the room, they'll look for maybe a nice quiet conversation with 2 or 3 people. They'll step in and they won't join the conversation until they have something meaningful to contribute. When they leave the room, They pretty much don't worry about saying goodbye. They just kind of maybe slip out and set their drink on the table. And guess what? The socially assertive person didn't even know they were there. So socially assertive, you know that you're socially assertive if generally speaking, you're generally speaking. Or if you got in trouble for talking too much in class when you were younger. Now on the socially cautious side, you might be the person who is described as, oh, they're very quiet and very shy. But they both love people just in different ways. So again, low trust and respect, how do we describe these people? Dramatic, shallow, egotistical. Insecure, fearful. Then we take time and we develop relationships and we gain high levels of trust and respect. And those very same people are described like this: confident, self-assured, outgoing, restrained, humble, reserved. So my question for you is, where are you on this line? If you're socially cautious, go ahead and stay on this side or go to this side. If you're socially assertive, go ahead and move to this side of the room. Oh, we've got some moving going on here. Got a little moving and shaking. Oh, okay. You guys are a little outnumbered on this one. Okay, so what we're going to do now is let's talk about what the socially cautious and the socially assertive people bring to problem solving, such as escape games. So let's start with our two socially cautious individuals over here. What would you say is a strength that you bring to problem solving? I'm kind of putting a socially cautious person on the spot. It doesn't usually go over. I should give you some time to think about it, right?
But no, it's okay. I think just a very observant and like looking at all the options first and then deciding from there.
Right, so you might be talking and thinking, but it's all happening inside here. It's not going to come out until you know that you kind of have the right thing to say or something to contribute.
Otherwise, if it's not going to be that meaningful, then I'm going to keep it to myself.
Okay. If it's not going to be that meaningful, she's going to keep it to herself. However, the thing is, sometimes socially cautious people have really good information, and even though it's not spot on, they might be reticent to share ideas because they don't want to be in the limelight, they don't want to be wrong. And so if we invite them to share, you could get some really good nuggets, right? Anything else to add, Shelley?
I'm not cautious. I just have an accessibility issue, so I'm
Okay, thank you. So actually, we have the sole Brandy as the socially cautious person. Okay, so let's hear from this group over here. Does anybody have some ideas about what strengths you bring to problem solving? I'm going to start. I think you have something to say. No? You were laughing. Okay, so there's one of the things that you bring to problem solving is lightness, right? Lightness and fun and laughter. So thank you. What about you, Elise?
Maybe it's because I'm actually more in the middle, but I'm very comfortable bringing people into conversations as well. So I feel my socially cautious friends over there, and I'm a person who would kind of bring a space together to help problem solve and delegate and do things for fun.
Yes, absolutely. So you can slide on the line, and that's what we know is that we can all kind of slide on the line maybe when we need to. Any other thoughts on yes?
I feel like not being afraid to ask questions that might be embarrassing or just be that person to put themselves out there, making everyone feel comfortable saying or thinking what they are.
Absolutely. You put people at ease by being friendly and kind of maybe even being the cheerleader for the group. Come on, team, we got this, right? Let's go. Okay, any other thoughts on that? Yes?
I would say as a creative thinker, just thinking outside of the box of kind of getting around solutions.
Okay, yeah. So your brain is always going. You're thinking far ahead, and so you have some creativity that you can also contribute. Wonderful. Okay, you see how this works. That we have socially assertive and socially cautious people, and sometimes they don't always find each other to connect, or they don't always leverage each other. They kind of drive each other nuts sometimes, right? Because the person who's over here is talking a lot, and the person over here is not saying a lot, and they're like, "Well, why aren't you talking? Well, why are you talking so much?" So when we build trust and respect, the way that we can bridge this gap is to slide on a line. So if I'm over here and you're over here, what happens if I slide all the way over here? Oh, it could be exhausting to get all the way over there, right? If my preference is socially assertive and I try to exhibit behavior that's socially cautious, it's probably going to take a little bit of my energy. But what I can do maybe is meet halfway. And I think that's what Elise was saying, right? I can move over halfway and help meet the needs of the socially cautious person. And the socially cautious person, same thing. Sometimes we need to exude a little bit more energy outwardly than we really want to in order to connect with people, in order to have positive influence with others. So sliding on a line is key. And the most important trip you may ever take in life is meeting somebody halfway. And when it comes to different styles and leveraging strengths, there's no more true statement. Okay, are you guys ready to play some escape games? What I wanted to tell you is this is a very abbreviated program of our full-blown program called Escape and Engage. If we were doing a full-blown program, we would have everybody complete a self-assessment that kind of gives you more insights to the things we just talked about. And we spend about an hour going through that, and then you spend about 75 minutes playing games. So we've been doing this with teams as a great way to team build and also provide insights about self-awareness and how to work better with others. Okay, so now we're ready to play the game, and Jenny is going to, actually, what you're going to do first is you need to form teams of 3. So find 2 other people and form your teams. And as soon as you've formed your teams, Jenny's going to give you the instructions, and we're going to play the escape games for 20 minutes.
Terrific. Thank you, Sharon. Shane is going to hand out whiteboards to you in a minute. You'll find a passport on there. You're going to have 20 minutes to play and solve as many puzzles as possible. When you have an answer, you tell a nearby game host. If it's correct, we'll stamp your passport with the corresponding number of points. Is your team going to start with 1-point puzzles or 7-point puzzles? You'll see on these little cards how difficult the puzzles are, and if you're looking for numbers or words. You need to stay together and work on one puzzle at a time. You're welcome to play as competitively or casually as you would like. And pick a team name. And ready? Let's begin. You have 20 minutes.
Okay, our judges are going to be tallying up the points. So let's go ahead and gather back over here just for a few minutes while our judges are tallying up the points. Okay, let's go ahead and, how did that go for everyone? Yeah? Okay, did you take any of the knowledge from how you're different to help you engage with your team members? You did? Can you share with us what that was?
I feel like we all had something with each game that worked. Maybe that was just in our favor that we could bring to the game. I feel like my friend Johnny there used some of his military background to help solve one of the wordy problems. I love puzzles, so trying to do the picture and unscramble it, or put it back together rather, was fun. So yeah, I think we all tried our best. The first one we did was really tough, so it slowed us down.
Yeah, and that's usually the way it works, is the first puzzle you solve is always the hardest because you're kind of figuring out like the methodology, like how it works. So if you had a process decision maker on your team to help you figure that out, it probably helps make the rest of the puzzle solving go faster. Were there any other observations? Yes.
We were all very decisive people, and so what we started doing is when somebody had an idea, we just went with it. We were like leaning on the fact that we were all the same type of learner to really build up our success.
And then to build on that, I felt like we did a lot of idea stacking where somebody would have an idea and the next person, it would spark something else for them, and suddenly like the puzzle's done because we all built on each other.
Yes, and I witnessed this in action with this group. What I saw is the first answer was wrong, so she quickly erased and tried another number, and then how many more times did you have to erase before you... Just 3 times, right? If the first answer is not correct, let's just keep going and find the correct one. Okay, so thank you for playing the escape games. This is RBE Team Escapes that does the escape games, and I'm Sharon with H Leadership. I do leadership and team development. So we've combined to create this adventure that allows people to learn about themselves, create some self-awareness that they can put to use when solving escape puzzles, but also when they're solving problems at work. So are you guys ready to hear who the winner is? We have just one winner, and drum roll please. The winning team is LEB. LEB team, come on up. Woohoo! Okay, and you will be the proud recipients of the 5 dysfunctions of a team. If you haven't read this book, it's a great framework. It's a quick story about teamwork, and then with some really fun things in the back that you can do with your teams. Okay, thanks so much for playing. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of the Northwest event show.